So on this week's episode, we're picking up right where we left off, but with a little more knowledge about what the we're doing out here. So with that being said, the first thing we're gonna do is move backwards. We're gonna get the steering column out and we're gonna cut back some of the sheet metal. That way we can slip the new Beetle firewall into place. What that's gonna do for us is it's gonna allow us to get our steering angle and our steering column angle so that we can know exactly where the steering wheel is gonna land, which means later on, we can work on the dashboard when we're ready. So let's get started. So we've got the firewall sitting kind of where it's gonna be. What I'm gonna do is grab some self-tappers and just temporarily screw it into place. That way we can mess with the steering column without it flopping all over the place. So we got a few self-tappers in the firewall. It's nice and sturdy now, exactly where we need it to be. The next thing we need to do is take the steering column that I mentioned in the last video out of this Carmangia parts car that we have. The reason why we're doing that is because this steering column that I have already mocked up is an early oval steering column, and I don't want to cut it unless I have to. Ultimately, we are going to go with a bat wing on this car, but for now, we'll use this steering column. We'll see how everything lines up, and we'll go from there. So I don't hate the later steering wheel. It's more period correct as well. The plan was always to put a bat wing in this, but I don't hate that either. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Do you prefer the bat wing or the later style? So let's take a couple of measurements and get this thing cut down. So I took 6 inches out of the column. I think eventually I want the indicator switch a little closer to the dash, but that's not really what we're looking for right now. What we're looking for is where that column is gonna be straight, and that's where we have it right now. I really do like this wheel in here, but you know, it's all gonna be determined on seat positioning and all that. The car's gotta be comfortable to drive, so. But I think that's gonna be it for tonight. So we will pick it back up tomorrow. What do we have here? Well, I'll tell you what we have here. We have the final tool that we need to get this project rolling. Maybe not the final tool. We'll probably want to get a bead roller too when we do the floors and the sheet metal work up front. But this tool is going to be the single most important tool on this whole build, and it's finally here. So let's get it open, get it set up. So this is it. It's a Pro Tools manual tubing bender, which is what we're gonna use to bend up the chassis bars and tie this whole project together. I'm super excited. That's kind of what we've been waiting for, why we've been trying to do little things here and there, like the dashboard, which is not working out at all, but will eventually. we're waiting for this. This is how we're gonna put structure back into the car. So I got it all assembled. What I need to do now is just anchor it to the floor. So we're gonna drill some holes in the concrete. I have some concrete anchors, and this is where it's gonna live. So we got it all bolted down to the ground. I think it's time to bend some metal. I have a couple of different pieces of scrap that I want to use. I'd like to go with 1/8 inch wall. I don't know that it's necessary. I just want to see how it bends 1/8 inch, and then I think I have a 14 gauge wall scrap. So we'll bend both of them up and see what works best. All right, so that's the first bend with the Pro Tools tubing bender. Here's the part number if anyone wants to grab it. They are a little pricey. They're about $1,200 with the die, and this die that I have will only do 1 inch square, so something to think about. They do sell like a master die kit, but it's like $2 grand. But let me give you a bit of an idea of what we're trying to accomplish here. The reason why we got this tubing bender is so we can build a frame in here. Obviously, this is just a test bend, and this is not exactly how it's gonna be, but we're gonna build a square tube chassis in here, essentially, a front half, and that's gonna tie in to the front, get rid of all this. We'll have bars going across. The bars will tie into the front beam, and then we'll build kind of a cradle for the gas tank. We might put the air ride system in here. Who knows? The possibilities are endless now that we have a tubing bender. Like I said, I think that's the last big tool we're gonna need for the project. We have the plasma table that we were lucky enough to get that is gonna take care of most of the plates and brackets that we need to tie the tubes together. And then the bender, which is gonna make our life a lot easier to build some structure into the car. With that being said, I think this is gonna be the end of the video. I know we didn't get much accomplished, but we did get the steering wheel in and cut down, which I'm super pumped about. Now that the bender's here, I wasn't expecting it for another couple of weeks. We can get going on putting some structure into the car, maybe get the body off and finish up the chassis as far as the rear suspension goes and all that. The dashboard, still whipping my ass. I don't know what we're gonna do with that. But what I do know is that we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna figure all this stuff out. So I appreciate you guys watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.